Maya. Maya.
Ah, padre, tienes que limpiar el
¿Lente?
lente.
Crash, crash, crash. Tú eres la que da la dirección, Maya. Tú dale duro porque yo no puedo. El señor se aburrió de nosotros. La ventaja de irnos por debajo de los palos es que no hay gente.
Okay, okay, wait, wait, Cinco. No.
Se
I have a tissue.
Se ha hecho una herida el tío Shingo.
Cinco.
Ay, pobrecito. ¿Shingo?
¿Quién le pegó a Shingo?
Ah, sí. ¿Por cuál lado nos vamos? Escoge rápido para ver cuál le hago.
左撥唔得太多，左撥係啦。先係你們需要點樣？
Acá no caemos.
Ese pillo está más bravo. Ay, no, sí, ese pillo. Ese pillo como que le han dado varias veces con
That's everyone. Perfect. Alright everyone, nice work making your way down the mangrove creek. Now the reason we've come to a stop here is we continue another 16, 17 kilometres and make our way all the way to St Kilda. So we're not going to be doing that one.
Que son 16, 17 kilómetros, macho.
Mangrove forest.
O sea, nos vamos a volver.
This mangrove forest is actually known as the grey mangrove. And there's only one species of grey mangrove, and that is here in South Australia. This mangrove has actually been around for over 10,000 years. And that's because each one of the trees here can live up to 400 to 700 years. Now, the reason these mangroves have been able to live here for so long is mostly due to two reasons. Their main reason is, if you look over on the left and the right side of the shoreline, you notice there's these stick-like objects coming straight out of the ground. These are the root system of the mangroves, which are known as nematophore. When these roots are sticking out of the water, like they currently are at the moment, they're actually taking in the oxygen and they spread that throughout its roots. And they can actually store it inside the soil as well. But when this water level comes above the root system, and the water level does come now, at the top of my paddle, just here. The water level comes as low as we are currently at the moment,
Al agua.
comes up as high as this point just here. So when the water level comes above the root system, the roots actually start to take in the water, separating that salt and the oxygen from the water. And if you have a look at all these leaves that you do see on these branches, all of those yellow or discoloured leaves are leaves that have been pumped with salt, which will eventually fall off the tree, putting that salt back in the water again, like all the other leaves that you do see floating around. Now, another reason these mangroves have been able to last here for so long is due to their saplings. I've got one here in my hand. So a lot of your trees, mostly your fruit trees, will produce a fruit that animals will eat the fruit, and as they cruise around and defecate, they spread that seed around, which will then eventually become a sapling. Mangroves skip that seeding process and move straight onto these saplings. It starts off as this kind of little lemon here in my hand, and when it falls in the water, it starts to take in the water until eventually that yellow layer does break off. This green layer then starts to open up a bit like a flower, and this allows it to move with the wind and tide until eventually it finds its way into a bit of sand, soil, or anything similar. If it's got enough space to play with, it can spread its roots out and establish itself as a little mangrove tree. If you see there at the very back of us where we've got that branch sticking out, that's actually a mangrove tree that has reached the end of its lifespan. First lost its leaves on its branches, and now it's starting to break down its branches, which will create more bedding for more mangroves. But if you have a look, probably even easier, it's just around next to me. See these roots with the leaves sitting on top of them? These are actually not roots. Those are those mangrove saplings. What happens is when a mangrove tree starts to die, mangrove saplings will start to cover the entire area around it, just covering as much area as possible. even though maybe only one or two of them will be able to establish themselves, they just want to make sure they cover as much area as possible to make sure there's no grey areas. So as you can see, even on the left here where it's a bit dry, still the tree covers enough that it's pretty much a blanket of tree line. Now, it's a bit tricky because there haven't been any full-grown sizes, but I can kind of see a couple just here next to me. When you've been cruising around the place, you might be able to notice some really tiny little fish. These mangroves act as a great nursery for a lot of different fish
Si has visto los
species.
pescaditos
prawn, and
chiquiticos
crab.
pegados en la arena.
Here in the mangroves, we get a lot of the fish like the salmon trout, garfish, flathead, mulloway, and the